Hey guys, Joshua with a quick another video. I want to keep it short, about 4 or 5 minutes, and I just want to go ahead and talk about how I use these scanners to find my stocks in the day to trade. So right here we're on Thinkorswim, just a simple account. I want to go ahead and scan for my stocks in the morning. Right now, it's about 11 o'clock right now, way past the morning open, and so stocks have already had their big run. Well, I want to kind of show you the scanner that I use to find these stocks in the market open and how I kind of watch the stocks progress and how I watch stocks develop without having to sift through charts every 5 seconds. So what I did was I created a simple scanner that I'm going to use, and how I load that scanner is I go here to these little bars on the side, open it up, load scan query, personal, and then I load the scanner of my preference. So big runners post day. I have four criteria that I'm looking for. I want the percent change to be 10% or more. I want the last price to be at least 10 cents. I want there to be at least 1 million shares traded on the day. And then I want an opening price to be less than $10. So I hit my scan and it loads stocks for me that meet that criteria. Now, I'm not really worried about looking at the scanner on this page. I want to see stocks as they develop real time. So what I do is I go to my market watch and I go to the same thing. I go to right under quotes, click that, go to personal, and I load that preset scanner that I have set up onto my market watch page. So big runner post day, boom, and it loads all the scans. So what's going to happen here is as the day progresses, whenever a stock meets that criteria, 10% change, 100 million, 100 shares, I'm sorry, 1 million shares traded, at least 10 cents and no more than $10, that's going to show up on the scanner. And that's going to be a stock that I'm going to be looking to trade. So as soon as it hits my criteria, I go to charts and I type in the ticker. So let's go and look through some of these. BONT was the first one, and it's loaded right here. As you see, it had this big rip upwards, really, really nice. All these green candles, that's what I like to see. And then it started to have this big pullback. So what I would do is when the morning opened, I would see this probably like right here, halfway through its big rip. I would see it start to rise and rise and rise, and I'd say, okay, I'm gonna watch it. So I would watch it, and as soon as I see this big red candle start to form, all right, it's starting to have a momentum shift. So what would I do? I would take my short in between 88 cents, the top of the spike, and in between 80 cents. So I'd be right up in this little area right here. I'd take my short position. And then as it drops, whenever I start to see it start to change momentum, I would cut my losses, right? I would take my shares and take my profits. So I'd take a short in here, and I'd take my profits in here somewhere. Again, it's really predictable, really easy to see. Another ticker, YUMA. Now let's look at this one. It had that big morning rip that I was looking for, right? It ran big, a lot of green candles, almost straight up. However, it did not take that hard pullback. It kind of consolidated. Now, what would I do on this one? Okay, well, if I had traded this one, which I probably would have, to be honest, I probably would have taken a position on it because this one has a history of running. Once I realized that it wasn't going to take a hard dip, I would have cut my losses. I could have cut my losses down here. I could have cut my losses up here, but I would have cut my losses right away, and I would have taken a small loss, probably 2-3 cents, which is very, very acceptable for me, considering that it's a $2 stock. Another one, OMVS. Look at this one. Now, this one did hit my scanner. However, it doesn't have consistent volume, and the chart is super choppy. So right away, I would X this one off of my potential playlist. NVGS. Look at this. Beautiful, perfect, almost a picture perfect chart. Huge run up, a lot of green candles, and then this hard, easy to predict pullback. So I would take my short, again, at the top here when I see the momentum change, and I'd ride it all the way down and take my profits right around here. XGTI. This one had a gap up in the morning. That's why I hit my scanners, but I would not have traded this one because it did not fit my criteria. I don't want to trade stocks that have runs in the morning. I want to trade stocks that have runs. I'm sorry, I don't want to trade stocks that have runs pre-market. I want stocks that run in the morning. So that's a no-go. NWBO. Same thing. This one had a run mid-morning. I want it to happen at the morning open, so this one would be off my list. TEUM. Perfect. Nice morning rip, and then a nice pullback. So I would be taking my profits into these little dips and bounces. SPI. Again, these charts look almost exactly the same, guys, if you're noticing that. So it's a very predictable pattern. It's something that happens all the time. So it's just finding out. The hardest thing about this pattern or this strategy is finding out where the top is going to be, right? You want to make sure you know that the top is changing. You want to make sure that there's going to be a pullback soon. So as soon as you see this change, you take your short position and you just ride the momentum down and take your profits. And then last but not least, MOSY. Same thing. This was a little bit more choppy, so I don't know if I would have traded this one. And if I did trade this one, I probably would have taken it out for a loss. So you had this rip, it pulled back, and then it bounced again. And then it pulled back, and then it bounced, and it broke the high of day. So I would have taken it off for a loss there. But this is another one that would have been on my list to play potentially. But obviously sometimes strategies and patterns don't work out the way you want them to sometimes. So keep that in mind. But for the most part, most of these charts did fit my criteria, did have that big run in the morning, and did have the hard pullback. And the ones that didn't, it's okay. You take your losses and you keep moving. And as long as your losses are less than your wins, then you'll be profitable, right? So if I have 5 trades and I lose 3 trades, but I only lose like 20, $30 on each trade, but then for the 2 trades that I win 20, 30, 40%, $200-300 per trade. It's a profitable day, right? If I lose $60 on 3 trades, but then I make back $400 on 2 trades, that's a green day. So being able to cut your losses when things don't go the way you want them to, and being able to you know find a strategy that's consistent and works for you, that's what's important. But I'm not going to hold you guys anymore. I think you got the idea, and I hope that gave you some ideas for how you want to structure your personal strategies. But feel free to ask me as many questions in chat. I'd love to answer those for you, and I'll see y'all next time.